Welcome viewers to the series of supply chain sessions, online sessions at SDSV LAMS. My name is Hassan Umar and I'm currently working as Director of Operations at Mr. Textile Mills and also attached with LAMS as the delivering residence with this MS Supply Chain and Retail Management Program. With me is Dr. Muhammad Tayyib, who is the Program Director for MS Scrm program. And he will be leading this discussion along with me today. So today we have a very strong and an extremely accomplished panel. We will be talking about the challenges of supply chain challenges within the automobile industry of Pakistan. I welcome all the panel members to this discussion. We have Mr. Kashif Rahim, General Manager, Plant Administration Department from Indus Motor Company. Welcome, sir. Mr. Rizwanul Haq, Head of Plant Operations at Master Chanan Motors. Welcome, Rizwan sir. Then we have Mr. Kashif Hassan, National Supply Chain Manager at Atlas Honda Limited. Welcome, Kashif Hassan sir, to the session. And Mr. Mohammad Azam, DGM Imports and Logistics at Hyundai and Ashok Motors Private Limited. Dr. Tayyib is the Program Director for this MS Supply Chain Program. Dr. Saab, welcome to this session. And,
thank you.
This is my pleasure to have this excellent panel with us. So we will try to learn in another 45 to 60 minutes that what is going on in the automobile industry. So just to give a heads up to the viewers that automobile industry is one of the most important industries of Pakistan and it contributes 4% in the GDP. This 4% translates into roughly $14 billion. And this industry is the second largest contributor to the national tax collection. And this is roughly about $220 million. So this industry has its weight, and we want to understand that what are the supply chain challenges within this industry. पाकिस्तान की जो प्रोडक्शन कैपेसिटी है वो तकरीबन 3 लाख व्हीकल्स की और तकरीबन 2 मिलियन मोटर बाइक्स या 2 व्हीलर्स और 3 व्हीलर्स की तकरीबन इतनी हमारी इंस्टॉल्ड कैपेसिटी है और तकरीबन जो हमारी मार्केट साइज है वो अगर हम ऑटोमोबाइल व्हीकल्स के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से देखें तो वो अबाउट पिछले अगर 5 साल में हम देखें तो अराउंड 250,000 यूनिट्स के करीब है. तो दिस इज द साइज ऑफ द इंडस्ट्री और पाकिस्तान की इकोनॉमी में एक बड़ा ही मेजर रोल इस इंडस्ट्री का है. सो लेट्स बिगिन आवर डिस्कशन विद मिस्टर काशिफ रहीम फ्रॉम इंडस मोटर कंपनी. सर, आपसे हम ये जानना चाहेंगे कि ऑटोमोबाइल इंडस्ट्री का आपके ख्याल में सबसे बड़ा चैलेंज इस वक्त क्या है और इंडस मोटर उसको कैसे हैंडल कर रहे हैं?
अच्छा जी, अस्सलाम वालेकुम एंड बिस्मिल्लाह रहमान रहीम. सबसे पहले तो थैंक यू वेरी मच लम्स SDSB का कि उन्होंने मुझे इनवाइट किया एंड I hope that with today's discussion I will be able to share my knowledge to give everyone fruitful information and help to improve your knowledge in your organization and in your career where applicable. So starting with the challenges, so I want to start with the COVID when we had faced the COVID in this world and in Pakistan as well. So at that start time, we had many delays due to port congestions. उसके अंदर हमारा जो deliveries है from exporters, we have around more than 11 exporters around the world. तो around 45 days तक का हमारा जो है वो port congestion की वजह से shipment delays हो रहे थे. And some other reasons were exporters got shut down because of COVID cases in their areas, and many disrupted supplies as well, including our local vendors. And फिर globally आप लोगों को पता उस वक्त container shortages भी हुए थे और फिर at the same time we had a very huge freight cost. And then we were able to manage those things. और फिर उसके बाद हमारे पास नया issue आया that was in the country and current LC issues. So in that, I'll give you a brief background that Pakistan is currently going through a balance of payment crisis. Our imports have surpassed the amount of exports that we have, and Year to date, in 7 months, our overall current account deficit stands at $3.8 billion. So the main challenges faced by the government of Pakistan is to finance this gap with its decreasing reserves. So way back in May 2020, State Bank have taken one countermeasures on that they introduced a mechanism of taking prior LC approval from State Bank of Pakistan, in which industries have to, like auto sectors and mobile manufacturers as well, they have to require to obtain the prior LC approvals from State Bank of Pakistan. However, in January 23 onwards, the requirements have changed, and it was replaced with the classification of essentials and non-essential items. And the commercial banks in Pakistan were asked by State Bank to establish LC only on essential items, such as food and energy and pharma, etc. So as you all know that auto sector belongs to the non-essential category. Therefore, at present, this sector is facing a huge difficulties and hurdles in establishing LCs from the commercial banks of Pakistan. So we are also facing issues in terms of production planning, sales forecasting, giving deliveries to the customers, both in ordering to the imports and local parts. And we are also facing difficulties in procuring the equipments and machineries for our projects and maintenance items. And because we have already placed an order and we order on a CNF basis, so we receive the containers at port and they all are stuck because banks don't have enough funds to release the BL documents. So we had to pay, industries are paying a huge damage and detention cost on that. So we have taken few actions to overcome these challenges. However, auto industry is still running in a very low volume and everybody is producing under capacities. They are facing non-production days and plant shutdowns. So for LC establishment, actually as a whole, I would say that we have a great team of good communication and collaboration. So that's why we are fighting with LC issues and we are having a strong collaboration. Our finance department is approaching to the commercial banks to give us some tentative figures that we can set for ordering in the future assumptions of ordering. And for the planning also, our production planning team is strongly collaborating with sales department to fulfill the customers' lead time, reduction of the lead time in each variant, each models. And also we are collaborating with suppliers and we are having each suppliers day-to-day close communication where they are stuck, what parts they don't have that we can that is required in coming days, and how they can arrange those parts maybe by air with some small air shipments that requires less amount of LC. By that suppliers we are supporting, and also in all as a whole we are closely monitoring in all areas with both local and imports, and our Toyota regional office is also supporting us when we are asking them to change some production plan. Based on the production plan, we are changing some orders. So they also understand the situation of Pakistan. So Toyota regional office is also supporting us in changing the plans. And I think I have covered your questions. Thank you very much.
Kashif Saab, really enlightening to know that how your organization is coping up with these challenges by collaboration and enhanced communication, cross-functional working of production teams, sales teams, planning teams, and your regional office is also supporting you. So these are kind of pillars of supply chain that if are enabled in an organization, it helps that organization to make the supply chain more resilient. Thank you very much for your inputs. Azam Saab, I'll come to you. आप इसमें कुछ ऐड करना चाहेंगे कि जो challenges industry में आ रहे हैं, things that Kashif Saab has talked about, would you like to add something to that?
Thank you very much, everyone. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you very much, Kashif. I think Kashif has explained very well. So the challenges at the moment is only the foreign exchange issues of Pakistan, and it is very vibrant and very loud and clear. Even though the government is restricting, but even though still that they are not controlling as they want to. So that is why they are creating such a bad shape. And another most important is we are losing our repute against the international supplier, which is the most important than the in a recent crunch, because in future we hope that the situation will clear, will be go better and soon. But if we lose our our commitment, our trust, then it is very difficult to reshape and regain it with the foreign supplier. And we don't have any so much option that like one supplier, two or three or four supplier, since we are the joint venture companies, and we have only very at least maybe one or two supplier, none more than a couple of supplier. So it is very challenging. We have to face them, we have to give them up to date about the ground realities, what is going on, and give them a hope the situation will clear soon. I don't know when, but we have to keep them engaged and ask them situation will get soon better. So these are kind of issues we are facing. Regarding the challenges which we are handling, the supply chain is one shape. The supply chain is disturbed. But even though due to our economic situation, due to inflation, the depreciation of PKR, the prices are going very high, which have shrinkage actually the demand. So this help us in supply chain. Our demand has been reduced. So this actually help us a lot. The demand has been reduced, so our requirement has been decreased. And further, our fortunately our group is belong to a export oriented hub, so we have a better export. So our top management also looking after export, so they are negotiating with the bank to to give us something. And we can run in minimum way. I don't know, with NPDs, with the bare minimum, so then we can sustain in in the tough period. Another is our bank is also having the banking relationship, so they can negotiate better and twist the arm of the commercial bank, so they can give us something, even though it is very small scale, but to sustain, to run our operation. So it is at least again it's very helpful for us. So these are some kind of the small tactics we are doing to we can bridge out, we can going through this tough time.
ये आजम साहब बहुत ही इम्पोर्टेंट पॉइंट्स आपने रेज किए हैं। सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट जो पॉइंट आपने रेज किया है कि आप जो ग्रुप है उसकी जो एक्सपोर्ट की स्ट्रेंथ है इस वक्त वो आपको हेल्प कर रही है इस सिचुएशन में हैव दोज नेसेसरी डॉलर्स। और उसके अलावा आपकी जो ग्रुप का बैंक है that bank is also must be helping you out। और I think इंडस मोटर का भी ये स्ट्रेंथ है कि इंडस मोटर का भी जो अगर हम ग्रुप देखें हाउस ऑफ अदीब, so they also have that financial muscle, they have their own banks। और similarly diversified business group होने की वजह से your supply chains have that ability to sustain the disruptions that are going on into the supply chain। बहुत वैलिड पॉइंट है आजम साहब आपका। मैं अब आगे मूव करूंगा और मैं काशिफ हसन साहब के पास जाऊंगा जो रिप्रेजेंट कर रहे हैं एटलस होंडा को। वन थिंग इज क्लियर एट दिस स्टेज के इस वक्त हमारा जो इशू बना हुआ है वो इम्पोर्ट्स का, और इम्पोर्ट्स हमें इसलिए करनी पड़ती हैं कि हमारी जो मैन्युफैक्चरिंग है उसमें देयर इज अ लॉट ऑफ इम्पोर्टेड कंटेंट। तो इसीलिए कहते हैं कि ऑटो इंडस्ट्री में लोकलाइजेशन इज द की। तो काशिफ हसन साहब मैं आपसे ये पूछना चाहूंगा कि लोकलाइजेशन के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से आप हमें एनलाइटन करें कि व्हाट इज द सिचुएशन। आपकी जो कंपनी है जो पाकिस्तान की सबसे बड़ी बाइक मैन्युफैक्चरिंग कंपनी है और ऑलमोस्ट 50% आपका मार्केट शेयर है, तो आप हमसे शेयर करें कि वेयर डू यू स्टैंड एज फार एज लोकलाइजेशन इज कंसर्न, और इससे आगे फिर हम देखते हैं कि what next we have to talk about।
Thank you very much, Ahsan Saab, for giving me an honor to speak about this topic. So a little bit, I would like to explain how Atlas Honda achieved the localization. Actually, localization, our main two selling models are CD70 and CG125. That are those models are about 90% of the company total selling share. And we started their localization right from the beginning when these models were launched in 1980s and 90s. But the localizations process was speed up after 2001 and 2002 because volume was increasing, and at that time company realized that we will have to localize in order to control the cost of the products as well as to reduce the import dependency. And this process was speeded up after 2011. And with the passage of time, right now at this moment, we have achieved more than 90% localization in both of these models, CD70 and CG125. And right now, in the current situation, as you mentioned that the 50% is share, and because of when the situation of the import started during this last 1 year, and import became difficult. So after that, Atlas Honda gained the advantage of the localization during this period. Because of this localization, we were able to control the cost at the minimum level. That increased our market share up to 70% during this 1.5 year due to localization, because our Chinese competitors, they could not control the cost because of the dollar increase during this 1.5 year. And that gave us, this localization gave us a lot of advantage, that the struggle of the company due to last 20 years of the localization helped out the company to increase the market share between 1.5 year. And also, but I would like to mention a point over here is about the real localization. Basically, I am talking about 90 to 95% localization. That is about parts localization, where we outsource the parts to the local supplier, and we cut the imports. But still, if I talk about the real localization, we are still struggling about the raw materials localization, because still in our industry, we are still dependent upon the imports, because we take raw materials from the local steel mills and the local traders about the plastic materials and other materials. But even the raw material companies are dependent upon the imports, and we are still facing this challenge of the real localization, because this real localization of the raw materials, we need a lot of capital investment that can be done by the government support only. So although at the company level we have done our maximum effort, which we can do, but we still hope that the government will help out these local raw material companies to gain the real localization. So this is the real challenge for the localization right now. So I think I have explained. So if any question, I can answer.
डॉक्टर साहब, ये बहुत ही इम्पोर्टेंट पॉइंट है कि एक लेमैन ये समझ रहा होता है कि देखें, हमें ये बताया जाता है कि हमने 90% लोकलाइजेशन कर ली है, हमने 60% लोकलाइजेशन कर ली है, लेकिन फिर भी कीमतें बढ़ती चली जा रही हैं. सो दिस इज रियली इम्पोर्टेंट कि रियल लोकलाइजेशन के जहाँ पे रॉ मटेरियल्स भी लोकल हो और प्रोडक्शन लोकल हो, अदरवाइज तो फिर हम इम्पोर्ट पे डिपेंडेंट हो जाएंगे. ठीक है, कुछ वैल्यू एडिशन जरूर होती है, बट स्टिल, एंड दिस आंसर्स द क्वेश्चन कि व्हाई हमारी मोटर बाइक्स की प्राइसेस जो हैं वो भी बढ़ रही हैं. मेरा एक जिमनी क्वेश्चन है आपसे काशिफ साहब के आप लोगों की डिमांड के ऊपर क्या फर्क पड़ा है. जैसे आदम साहब ने बताया है कि जो व्हीकल्स की डिमांड है वो तो बहुत बहुत नीचे आ गई, बट व्हाट अबाउट द डिमांड ऑफ मोटर बाइक्स?
due to this devaluation of the money and the import situation, of course, the buying power of the consumer has been reduced too much during this one and a half year. And overall volume of the two-wheeler market, if we talk about in 2020 to 2021, it was about 2.5 millions per year production volume of the whole market. So it has been reduced right now up to 1.5 and 1.7 millions. I'm talking about whole two-wheeler market, which includes each and every supplier. So obviously the market is shrinking, and if the situation continues like that, it might shrink more. And definitely it has hurt our production as well. Actually, in 2021, we did achieve the highest landmark of 128,000 production in a month. And right now we are revolving around 80,000 to 90,000 mark. So obviously the overall market size has been reduced, which has affected our production as well.
Thank you, Hassan साहब. काशिफ रहीम साहब, आपसे पूछना चाहूँगा कि जिस वक्त टोयोटा इंडस मोटर कंपनी को पाकिस्तान में लाया गया था, तो उस वक्त एक ऑटो पॉलिसी थी, और उस ऑटो पॉलिसी में लोकलाइजेशन के ऊपर बड़ा फोकस था कि जी आपने लोकलाइजेशन करनी है. तो since then, what localization milestones you have achieved, and where do Indus Motors stand with respect to the new models? Fortuner भी अब local assemble हो रही है, और भी बाकी आपकी Corollas और ये सारी चीजें जो हैं local assemble हो रही हैं. So where do we stand in localization with regards to Indus Motors?
Thank you very much for your question. When we started our manufacturing in 1993, I have a basic information that at that time we had 4% of localization, and Corolla we were producing, we had localized around 33 parts around. And now at this time we have some other variants as well, like Yaris, Fortuner, IMV3, which is single cabin, double cabin, and Fortuner. So our localization now reaches to from 36 to 65% variant by variant. Like maximum is for Corolla, of course, and for Fortuner we have less localization, and that covers parts from around 500 to 780 parts, which has the major localization again in terms of parts is with Corolla. However, I want to add one more thing, that for localization, we have to realize that there are some difficulties and there are some basic requirements that we should have in the industry and in Pakistan as well, which covers the basic technical and cost feasibility. For example, the high duty parts, which are Amex parts, and also we have to compare CIM and CIL, which is cost index manufacturing and cost index landed cost. If we compare it with the, if we have to localize from import to the local, and supplier capability also, that already supplier is making this part or same part or similar part for other OEMs or for Toyota, and how much benefit we can get from the IOR duty benefits, and no issues in the logistics with the suppliers. And we have some other issues which are unforeseen events that we have in the country over the year. Sometimes rain, sometimes flood, sometimes strike, sometimes load shedding. And with this, everything we have to consider, the most important part is, which is our first priority, is safety and quality of the part. So the quality of part should be sustained during the localization. So with this approach, we have reached at the level of around 65% localization in Corolla. Thank you.
Thank you, Kashif sir. बहुत important point आपने शेयर किया हमसे और हमारे viewers से कि localization इतनी आसान नहीं है. इसमें टेक्नोलॉजी, ट्रांसफर ऑफ टेक्नोलॉजी, और फिर किस कॉस्ट पे आप बना रहे हैं, उस कॉस्ट पे हमें वायबल भी होती है, बिजनेस सेंस भी बनती है. So these are important considerations. और सप्लायर को डेवलप करना, सप्लायर को टेक्नोलॉजिकल सपोर्ट प्रोवाइड करना, फाइनेंशियल सपोर्ट प्रोवाइड करना, ये वो सारे एलिमेंट्स हैं जो कि आपको अपनी सप्लाई चेन बिल्ड करने के लिए सप्लायर डेवलपमेंट में इन्वेस्ट करना पड़ता है. रिजवान साहब, आप बड़ी देर से वेट कर रहे हैं, मैं आपके पास आना चाहूँगा और आपके विजडम को हम से फायदा उठाना चाहेंगे। तो रिजवान साहब, जिस वक्त हम एक सप्लाई चेन को डिजाइन कर रहे होते हैं तो हमारी एक बड़ी इंपॉर्टेंट कंसिडरेशन होती है कि व्हाट आर द थिंग्स दैट वी शुड आउटसोर्स एंड व्हाट आर द थिंग्स दैट वी शुड कीप विद अस इन हाउस। तो आप प्लीज हमसे शेयर करें कि स्पेसिफिकली आपकी कंपनी में और जनरली ऑटो इंडस्ट्री में ये डिसीजन कैसे लिया जाता है?
जी, thank you, Hassan sir. First of all, thank you for having me in this show and other panel members also. It's a pleasure speaking to you guys. You're right, ये बड़ा important एक decision होता है और उसको बड़ा careful deliberation के साथ हम decide करते हैं. Basically, talking in a simple sense, तो ये make versus buy decisions होते हैं, right? So if I were to give you an example of an automotive sub-assembly, आप कोई डोर ले लें, डोर सब असेंबली ले लें किसी भी व्हीकल की, किसी भी कार की, तो लाइक ऑफ कोर्स ऑन वन साइड यू वुड हैव द लैंडेड कॉस्ट कि मुझे सीकेडी में कितने का पड़ रहा है, ठीक है। उसमें आपका जो भी पॉइंट ऑफ ओरिजिन है जहाँ से आप इसको आप इंपोर्ट कर रहे हैं, ऑफ कोर्स वहाँ की अपने लोकल मैन्युफैक्चरिंग, जो लोकल वैल्यू एडिशन उन्होंने वहाँ की हुई है वो कॉस्ट होती है। देन ऑफ कोर्स उसकी शिपिंग कॉस्ट है, फ्रेट है, ड्यूटी है, सब कुछ है, राइट। Of course, you compare that with if you were to make it in house or make it locally, तो आपको कितने का पड़ेगा, right? तो again, sometimes this becomes but most times this becomes a game of volume also. अब मैं उसको वहां से अगर डिलीट करूंगा, of course I will enjoy certain benefits, ड्यूटी में भी, डिलीशन में भी मुझे कुछ अलाउंसेस मिलेंगे और वो मेरे फेवर में जाएगा। But on the other side, if I have to make it in house, then I'll have to invest. ठीक है, अब ये दरवाजा भी अगर खोल लेते हैं तो यहाँ जितने मेरे यहाँ पे बैठे हैं बाकी पैनल मेंबर्स, उनको अंदाजा है कि अच्छी खासी इन्वेस्टमेंट है, राइट। अपार्ट फ्रॉम द मैन पावर, द स्पेस, द यूटिलिटीज, जो भी आपको लोकल वैल्यू एडिशन करनी है, उसके अलावा इक्विपमेंट ही बड़ा इसमें एक्सपेंसिव है। यू नीड टू हैव हेमिंग प्रेसेस, राइट। तो वो अगर वॉल्यूम नहीं होगा तो अमोर्टाइजेशन नहीं मिलेगी। तो इट ऑल्सो बॉइल्स डाउन टू वॉल्यूम। तो सारा जो है, वॉल्यूम इज द किंग, इज द नेम ऑफ द गेम। अच्छा, इसमें आपको थोड़ा बेनिफिट उस सूरत में मिल सकता है if you happen to localize some of the parts within that दरवाजा, फॉर एग्जांपल, चूंकि मैं मिसाल डोर की दे रहा हूँ, then you get to have some localization benefits also, तो इक्वेशन में वेटेज आपकी तरफ बढ़ता है। बट अगेन, जैसे बड़ा अच्छा पॉइंट उठाया था मोहम्मद काशिफ साहब ने भी, कि वो ट्रू लोकलाइजेशन शायद फिर भी नहीं होती। अगेन, वो जो भी डोर का कंपोनेंट या पार्ट जो वो वेंडर बना रहा है, ही विल हैव टू इंपोर्ट रॉ मटेरियल। तो अगेन वो फिर उसकी अपनी कॉस्टिंग क्या होगी, वो हमें वो किस प्राइस पे देगा। सो ऑल ऑफ दीज फैक्टर्स गो इनटू प्ले एंड वी ट्राई टू बैलेंस आउट दिस इक्वेशन, राइट। अच्छा, इसमें सबसे बड़ा तो जो कंसिडरेशन है वो ऑफ कोर्स कॉस्ट का ही है, एंड इट्स अ फाइनेंशियल डिसीजन, मेक वर्सेस बाय। बट देयर आर सम अदर एलिमेंट्स दैट गो इनटू प्ले। अगर कॉस्ट फॉर एग्जांपल एट पार होना शुरू हो जाए, देन ऑफ कोर्स आइडियली यू वांट टू हैव मोर कंट्रोल ओवर थिंग्स, ठीक है। अगर मेरे पास स्पेस अवेलेबल है, आई वुड वांट टू हैव अ प्रोसेस इन हाउस रादर देन आउटसोर्स किसी लोकल पे, ताकि मैं इवन दो के वेंडर्स को भी वही क्वालिटी कंट्रोल्स के स्टैंडर्ड्स को फॉलो करना होता है, बट आई वुड बी अ टैड मोर कॉन्फिडेंट अगर वो मेरे अपने प्रोसेस के अंदर ही इन हाउस नजरों में हो रहा हो। तो आप यू आर मोर फ्लेक्सिबल, यू हैव मोर स्ट्रिंजेंट क्वालिटी कंट्रोल्स इनसाइड योर प्लांट, अ टैड मोर। तो फिर वो वाले फैक्टर्स भी ऑल्सो कम इन टू प्ले। बट फॉर द मोस्ट ऑफ द पार्ट इट्स अ फाइनेंशियल डिसीजन, और आपको दोनों साइड्स की इक्वेशन में जो है वो कॉस्ट की फैक्टर्स को बैलेंस करना होता है।
थैंक यू वेरी मच रिजवान साहब, आई थिंक यू हैव हिट द नेल ऑन द हेड कि दोनों एस्पेक्ट्स को देखा जाता है कि फाइनेंशियल वायबिलिटी क्या है, शुड वी बी मेकिंग अ डिसीजन बेस्ड ऑन वेदर द कॉस्ट इज लो और नॉट, इफ वी डू इन हाउस और बाय इट फ्रॉम आउटसाइड। और दूसरा ये कि अगर हमें कंट्रोल्स चाहिए, अगर कंट्रोल हम अपने पास रखना चाहते हैं, चाहे वो क्वालिटी का है या चाहे वो डिलीवरी टाइम का है, तो अगर हम कंट्रोल अपने पास ज़्यादा रखना चाहते हैं या कंट्रोल करना मुश्किल है, फॉर एग्जांपल जैसे हमारी जो इमर्जिंग इकोनॉमीज हैं, पाकिस्तान, इंडिया, बांग्लादेश, यहाँ पे हम कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स को नहीं सही तरह से इम्प्लीमेंट कर सकते और कोई अकाउंटेबिलिटी नहीं होती सप्लायर, या बाज़ औक़ात ऐसे होता है कि हमें ये भी क्लियर होता है कि हमारा डिज़ाइन ना चोरी हो जाए या हमारी एक्सपर्टीज ना चोरी हो जाए, तो फिर हम उसे आउटसोर्स नहीं कर पाते। बिल्कुल सही कह रहे हैं। हमें कुछ कमेंट्स आ रहे हैं जी और लोग बड़े एक्साइट हो रहे हैं और वो ये पूछ रहे हैं कि जी ऑटोमोबाइल इंडस्ट्री का फ्यूचर क्या है पाकिस्तान के जो हालात हुए हैं और जो हमारी रिलायंस है इम्पोर्ट के ऊपर, और हम एक्सपोर्ट तो करते हैं नहीं कोई भी वैल्यू एडेड चीज़ें जैसे कि इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स हों या ऑटोमोबाइल्स हों या और कंज्यूमर ड्यूरेबल्स हों, मैक्सिमम हम टेक्सटाइल्स को एक्सपोर्ट करते हैं या वो लो वैल्यू एडेड चीज़ों को एक्सपोर्ट करते हैं। तो पाकिस्तानी इंडस्ट्री, ऑटो इंडस्ट्री, इसका क्या फ्यूचर है? और मैं इसको ज़रा लिंक करना चाहूँगा कि अब जो नई ऑटो पॉलिसी है उसकी क्योंकि डायरेक्शन है कि हमें एक्सपोर्ट में भी जाना है, और जो नई कंपनीज आ रही हैं तो उनको मतलब मैंडेट ये दिया जा रहा है कि आप यहाँ पे सिर्फ असेंबलिंग और मैन्युफैक्चरिंग लोकल मार्केट के लिए नहीं करेंगे बल्कि एक्सपोर्ट भी करेंगे। तो मैं यहाँ पे पहले आजम साहब आपके पास आऊँगा कि आपकी जो कंपनी है क्योंकि अभी रिसेंटली फॉर्म हुई है, और आप लोगों की क्या आउटलुक है लोकलाइजेशन के हवाले से, एक्सपोर्ट ओरिएंटेशन के हवाले से, आप कैसे इसको देख रहे हैं? तो और उसके अलावा आप कैसे कंपेयर करते हैं पाकिस्तान की ऑटो इंडस्ट्री को विद रिस्पेक्ट टू कंपेरेबल मार्केट सच एज इंडिया को अगर हम देखना चाहें तो काइंडली ये बताइएगा। फिर आजम साहब आपके बाद इसी क्वेश्चन के साथ काशिफ हसन साहब मैं आपके पास आऊँ। जी आजम साहब।
जी अस्सलाम वालेकुम, थैंक यू वेरी मच। ये जो पाकिस्तान का क्या फ्यूचर है, अभी जो हमारी कंपनी, जो हमारा ग्रुप या हमारी जो मैनेजमेंट है, वो उनके ख्याल में या पाकिस्तान का फ्यूचर अभी थोड़ा टफ रहेगा, यानी कि हालात अभी एक दो साल थोड़ा टाइट रहेंगे, लेकिन आई थिंक वी हैव अ फ्यूचर बिकॉज वी हैव अ लॉट मोर टू ग्रो। लाइक लेट मी एग्जांपल दैट आवर मोटराइजेशन रेशियो इज 29 per thousand, like per 1,000 people we have only 29% who can have the vehicle 4-wheel drive, while in India they have 59 per 1,000 people, so we are much behind them. So we have potential to improve and to sustain, but the issue is the volume. So our volume are less, so that's why we are quite back foot. Like we have, as you earlier mentioned, that our auto industry 4-wheel is only 0.25 million per year, while in case of India they have 3.6 million passenger vehicle production per year, while 15% of that they are exporting to different countries, and even their local sale is around 2.7 million vehicle per year. So this give them the huge boost, and all of the major OEM, they have joint venture factories in India. But I think the most important is our strategy, our thinking of our businessman. Actually we have not done, I think, this is my personal opinion, we have not done with what we should have to do. Even though some of the sector like the two-wheeler we have a good volume, but our strategy is to capture only the local market. We have not explored the international market. The reason is our product are not up to the international standard. We are still still continuing the old style or old technology or old products, while the international market is to change and changing time by time and improve the quality, the flexibility, and everything. So that's why we are unable to sell in the export. So we have to, our business have to be considered world level. Otherwise we will again stuck up in import and export issues. I agree that we have challenges, but there is opportunity. We have challenges in automotive, but we should consider, as a nation, we should consider for the export which we have the raw material. I'm sure some of the raw material we have made in Pakistan, but we are not even doing the work on that sector as well. Our position is that sector is also similar like the auto industry. We have our export are not much significant than in that sector also. That isn't it. As a nation, we think that we are the best. Everybody think we are the best, but I don't think so. We are the best. If we are the best, it should be proven by the world. But we think that we are the best, but we should think that the other told we are the best, then we are the best. This is the main challenge of this Pakistan. We think that we are the best. So this is the main challenge. We consider our thinking is only national level, but we should think the international level, so that international level, even the auto industry of even one HS code, export or trade, global trade is much more than the Pakistan trade. So, but the requirement to achieve that is the new design, the flourish, or the cutting edge, the latest technology, because the customer have the many choices, but we have to become the choice of the customer. Then we can do the business internationally. But unfortunately, we are thinking locally. We are doing locally business well, so that's why we are doing well. Even sometimes the domestic market is not performing well, so we got stuck, and our whole country got stuck. So we have to think in a way that we can cope up with the international market, and the India is doing like this. Even though their market is bigger, local market is bigger, but their vision, their thinking, the government policies, even the most important is the businessman policies and businessman vision is international. But our businessman vision is something local. They are considering, hey, we are doing it good in Pakistan, so we are good. But we think internationally, then maybe we can got some position. Otherwise, we will giving up this this kind of crunch, import export trade deficit, this kind of issues.
थैंक यू आजम साहब, आपने कुछ बड़े इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट्स रेज किए हैं कि एक तो हमारे जो इन्वेस्टर्स हैं, जो हमारे ओनर्स हैं, बिजनेसमैन हैं, they should have an international vision and they should be striving to target international markets and not just, their appetite should not just be with the domestic market. Secondly, you have mentioned that the attitude is very important. Be it we are workers who have to produce quality, and be it we is our management that has to get quality, और हमें हमारा फोकस होना चाहिए कि हम इंटरनेशनल लेवल की क्वालिटी प्रोड्यूस करें, तभी हम इंटरनेशनल मार्केट पे compete कर सकेंगे. And it's not just the quality of the workmanship, but also the features and the technology that we use, and the product that we produce is clearly of the highest international standard. काशिफ साहब के पास जाने के बाद, काशिफ रहीम साहब, मैं आपके पास भी आऊँगा कि इंडस के हवाले से हम क्या देख रहे हैं फ्यूचर ऑफ ऑटोमोबाइल इंडस्ट्री को. तो काशिफ हसन साहब, आप प्लीज हमसे शेयर करें, क्योंकि जो हमारी मोटर बाइक मार्केट है उसमें हम जरा ज्यादा आगे हैं लोकलाइजेशन के हवाले से. सो डू वी हैव ए चांस, हम कोई एक्सपोर्ट्स की तरफ जा सकते हैं? फ्यूचर को आप कैसे देखते हैं और अपने आप को कैसे कंपेयर करते हैं इंडियन मार्केट से, चाइनीज मैन्युफैक्चरर्स से? हमारे जो व्यूअर्स हैं वो भी ये जानना चाह रहे हैं कि जी हम अपने आप को कैसे कंपेयर करते हैं. चाइना जो कि क्वालिटी और कॉस्ट दोनों में इतना आगे है, डू वी स्टैंड ए चांस? क्या हमारा कोई है इसमें कोई आगे निकल सकते हैं?
If I talk, I think many aspects has been explained by the Azam Saab, but I will more concentrate about the two-wheeler market in the world and the two-wheeler potential of Pakistan for the export. As if we look at the two-wheeler production in the world, number one is China, 2.3 million production of the units, and then comes the India, about the 2 million units production. If we talk about the India, within the 2 million units of 23 million and 20 million. Sorry, I will correct my words. So if we talk about India, that produces 20 million units per year. So there is about 4 to 5 million units which India export. And similarly, China has a large market of export of parts as well as the motorbike and other units like scooty type units in the world. So what distinguishes from those two countries? Number one, as we said, if we go internationally, we will have to complete in the quality, cost, and the deliveries aspects. We will have to create the value for the customer. And value comes from the trade-off of the quality and the cost as well. And we have discussed these cost challenges that until or unless we will not do the real localization of the raw material in our country, like China and the India, we cannot compete in the value with these two countries. And obviously, as you said in the auto policy, they are more focused about the export. So government will have to take the initiatives to produce more efficient energy, raw materials, and these resources for the automotive industry, so that we may compete globally with these two and three countries. And also, because if we take the example of the India, that why they are in export in the two-wheeler or automotive industry, we will have to go in the past when multinationals were not allowed in the India. They allowed based upon the agreements that they will transfer the technology in the upcoming years to the local manpower as well. And you can see, like, you can take the example of the Hero Group and the Honda Group. Now they are producing the bikes with the separately. Honda is operating separately and Hero is operating separately after working more than 10 years together. So these are all government initiatives. I am not saying that private sector or the businessman sector should not take the initiatives, but they can own work in the local boundaries. But if country want to be the export-oriented country, these more initiatives need to be taken at the government level to reduce the cost and increase the quality and the value of the product. So this is the reason, I think, from my side.
Thank you very much, Kashif साहब. I think आपने बहुत ही important point raise किया है कि एक stage पे आके फिर जो local investor है उसकी भी जो है ना limit खत्म हो जाती है. उससे आगे next level पे लेके जाने के लिए हमें political leadership की जरूरत है. Governments को अपना role play करना है. जिस तरह इंडिया ने या चाइना ने अपना एक नेशनल एजेंडा बनाया कि हमें नेशनली इंटरनेशनली हमें क्या पोजीशन ऑक्यूपाई करनी है और यही चीजें फिर ट्रांसलेट होती हैं बिजनेसेस में. काशिफ रहीम साहब, मैं आपसे ये पूछना चाहूंगा कि जिस वक्त मैं इंडस मोटर कंपनी में काम कर रहा था तो वहां पे जो हमारी करोला की क्वालिटी होती थी उसके बारे में जो हमारे वो जापानीज वहां पे काम कर रहे होते थे वो ये कहते थे कि इट इज एज गुड एज Corolla made anywhere in the world, especially Thailand, क्योंकि हमारी रीजनल मार्केट है. तो थाईलैंड के मुकाबले में कहते हैं Corolla हम प्रोड्यूस करते हैं और थाईलैंड में प्रोड्यूस होती है उसमें कोई फर्क नहीं. So what would you say about that?
Yeah, of course, this is right that you have information when you were in Toyota, and everybody have the same understanding that globally we are making a car, and that car quality is being monitored by Toyota globally. So whatever products we are making in any affiliates in any country, we are making a car with a quality that has to pass the criteria of quality as per the standard. So based on that standard, Toyota Pakistan and Toyota India, Toyota Thailand, every car have the same standards, and that standards comes in terms of DPU, defects per unit, and that defects per unit is same as compared to the other countries. So quality is same. If you compare, if the quality will not meet, we cannot make the car as per the Toyota agreement.
Thank you, Kashif साहब. So this gives us some confidence कि quality में हम खड़े हुए हैं किसी level के ऊपर. रिजवान साहब, आपके पास आऊँगा. आपसे मैं ये question पूछना चाहूँगा कि मास्टर चंगान मोटर्स, और हम देख रहे हैं कि चंगान की जो नई प्रोडक्ट है SUV, दिस इज रियली समथिंग दैट हैज टेकन द मार्केट बाय द स्टॉर्म, और बड़ी उसके अराउंड एक्साइटमेंट है और उसकी लुक्स और उसकी फील, और इवन मैंने उस गाड़ी को अपने एक फ्रेंड के साथ एक्सपीरियंस भी किया है. तो द क्वालिटी, द बिल्ड, द मेक, द फीचर्स, एवरीथिंग इज ऑसम. तो आप कैसे देखते हैं कि चाइनीज मैन्युफैक्चरर हैं, उनकी क्वालिटी कैसे कंपेरेबल है कोरियन मैन्युफैक्चरर्स के साथ, जापानीज मैन्युफैक्चरर्स के साथ, जिनके बारे में परसेप्शन ये है कि इनकी जो क्वालिटी है दैट इज वन नॉच अबव. और आप खास तौर पे चाइनीज ऑटोमोबाइल्स का पाकिस्तान में फ्यूचर कैसे देखते हैं, क्योंकि हम बहुत सारे चाइनीज मैन्युफैक्चरर्स को और ब्रांड्स को देख रहे हैं कि वो पाकिस्तान में आ रहे हैं और इस मार्केट के अंदर अब काफ़ी ज़्यादा ऑप्शंस और वैरायटीज अवेलेबल हैं। आज से आप सिर्फ 4-5 साल पीछे चले जाएं तो हमें इतनी वैरायटी और इतने फीचर्स और इतनी चॉइसेस नज़र नहीं आती। So how do you look at this situation, and please let the viewers know how the Pakistani market is evolving?
Yeah, Sansab, I think a valid question. क्योंकि generic perception तो in the market is कि हाँ Chinese जो भी product होगी वो inferior होगी, right? But it's a perception that's changing gradually but surely. देखिए अगर अभी चांगान से पहले मैं in generic China की बात भी करूँ तो it's a very very big and very very flexible market. मतलब goods from China are exported all over the world, US market, Europe, हर जगह. And these guys are capable of producing any range. Let me tell you that. मतलब वहाँ पे जो है iPhones assemble होते हैं, ठीक है? वहाँ पे अगर ऑटोमोटिव की बात करें तो वहाँ पे BMW के प्लांट्स हैं, Audi के हैं. तो these guys are really really capable. So it depends कि हाँ what type of partner you have, what business culture they have, values क्या हैं, आपकी values उनसे align करें, ठीक है? क्वालिटी का माइंडसेट है तो डेफिनेटली दे आर इन नो वे लेस या बिहाइंड इन क्वालिटी देन एनीवेयर एल्स इन द वर्ल्ड. तो चूंकि ये हमारे ग्रुप को पहले भी एक्सपीरियंस हो चुका था, इवन बिफोर चांगान, व्हेन एज अ ग्रुप वी स्टार्टेड दीस बसेस, ठीक है? यूटोंग की बसेस हैं, तो वहां पर भी हमने, आपको भी इसका अच्छा अंदाजा होगा कि कैसे मार्केट को कैप्चर किया है. और जो पहले मार्केट के बड़े प्लेयर्स थे उससे कहीं ज्यादा आगे मार्केट शेयर ग्रैब किया यूटोंग की बसेस ने, और बड़ी अच्छी बिल्ड क्वालिटी और कंफर्ट वाइज, अपीयरेंस वाइज, फंक्शनैलिटी. तो ग्रुप ऑलरेडी हैड सम कॉन्फिडेंस वर्किंग विद चाइना. तो फिर जब ये विजन था हमारे सीईओ साहब का और जब ये जेवी साइन हुआ तो उसके बाद पीपल केम ऑन बोर्ड और उनसे मीटिंग्स हुई तो हमें एट द आउटसेट ये आइडिया हो गया कि नो दीज गाइज आर रियली वेरी have good business ethics, good business values और quality mindset बहुत ज्यादा है. क्योंकि चांगान has been present in China for more than 40 years. वहाँ की बड़ी उनकी ग्लोबल मार्केट है, लोकल मार्केट है, फिर एक्सपोर्ट भी करते हैं. So like China making like 26 million vehicles a year, तो एक बहुत बड़ी मार्केट है, तो उनको शायद एक्सपोर्ट के लिए इतनी फुर्सत भी नहीं मिलती, राइट? बट in terms of quality, तो as I said कि किसी तरह भी पीछे नहीं है. और जितना मुझे पुराना भी एक्सपीरियंस था कि मैं और भी ऑटोमोटिव में रह चुका हूँ, तो मुझे फील हुआ कि हाँ यार, जो भी इक्विपमेंट है चाहे वो स्टेट ऑफ द आर्ट है, चाहे वो बॉडी शॉप का हो, पेंटिंग शॉप का हो, असेंबली शॉप का हो. जो मटेरियल्स हैं वो भी जो स्टील के ग्रेड्स हैं, जो भी उनके जो प्लास्टिक का मटेरियल है, ठीक है. और फिर वर्कमैनशिप तो हमारी लोकल ही है. और लोकल भी आपको पता है कि जो पहले आपके पास बिग 3 होते थे तो वो उन्होंने एज अ इंस्टीट्यूशन सर्व किया है, टू बी वेरी फेयर. तो जो भी मैन पावर है वो घूम फिर के उसी बेस लाइन से निकल के आई है, राइट? सो दे हैव द सेम माइंडसेट, सेम लेवल ऑफ स्किल. तो जितने इनपुट्स जा रहे होते हैं उसमें ये मैन है तो वो हमें पता है कहाँ से आया है, मटेरियल है उसका मैंने आपको बताया कि चाइना नो वे बिहाइंड, ठीक है. जो मेथड्स हैं ऑफ कोर्स वो सारी एसओपीज वही हैं जो एक हाई क्वालिटी एंड प्रोडक्ट में जाती हैं. और तो मैन मशीन भी सारी आपको मैंने बताई कि स्टेट ऑफ द आर्ट है, चाहे वो वेल्डिंग इक्विपमेंट हो, वेल्डिंग जिग्स हो, पेंटिंग के जितने आपके पेंटिंग गन्स होती हैं, एयर हैंडलिंग यूनिट्स होते हैं, पेंटिंग बूथ्स हैं, पेंटिंग ओवन्स हैं, ऐसे असेंबली कन्वेयर्स हैं. द मोर यू डिग डीपर तो सारे स्टेट ऑफ द आर्ट हैं. सारे पेंट के वही हैं जो कॉमन है तकरीबन, जो ऑटोमोटिव के बिग नेम्स हैं. तो जब इनपुट हमेशा सेम होता है तो आउटपुट भी सेम ही निकलता है. तो इनपुट जितने पैरामीटर्स हैं वो कंसिस्टेंट भी हैं और वो बड़े नाम भी हैं और जो कि कंसिस्टेंट हैं इंडस्ट्री के अंदर. तो आउटपुट भी अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह जो है वो वैसी कंसिस्टेंट भी है और एक ग्लोबल इम्पैक्ट का है.
थैंक यू रिजवान साहब. इट्स रियली एनलाइटनिंग टू सी कि कैसे पाकिस्तान की ऑटोमोबाइल इंडस्ट्री, चाहे हम कार्स की बात करें या मोटर बाइक्स की बात करें या बसेस की बात करें या इवन ट्रक्स की बात करें, इवन ट्रैक्टर्स की बात करें, तो दिस इज इवॉल्विंग. इट हैज शोन लॉट ऑफ प्रॉमिस. और अब कस्टमर्स की जो रिक्वायरमेंट्स थी या उनकी जो, ये एक बात हमेशा होती थी कि जो फीचर्स नहीं होते पाकिस्तानी गाड़ियों में, तो अब ये जो कंपटीशन है इससे वी आर रियली हैविंग cars having the best of the features. और this is really serving the customer. और ये जो आपने एग्जांपल दी है 5M मॉडल की, कि हमारा हर चीज जो है वो वही है जो कि बाकी बिग थ्री के पास है। और ये बेसिकली एक फिनोमिना है कि जो भी पायनियर होता है, लीडर होता है मार्केट में, वो मार्केट को डेवलप भी करता है और मार्केट को टैलेंट भी देता है, और वहीं से फिर आगे एक मार्केट जो है वो ग्रो करती है। सो इट्स कंपटीशन, बट एट द सेम टाइम this competition is helping the market grow, and the ultimate beneficiary is the customer. मैं अब आऊंगा जी डॉक्टर तैयब आपके पास। आपसे मैं पूछना चाहूंगा कि आपने ये सारी डिस्कशन सुनी हमारे एक्सपर्ट पैनलिस्ट की, तो आप हमसे शेयर करें कि सलमान दाऊद स्कूल ऑफ बिजनेस एंड MS सप्लाई चेन एंड रिटेल मैनेजमेंट प्रोग्राम ये क्या है, क्यों है, हम MBA भी करवाते हैं, हमारी अंडरग्रेड की डिग्री भी है, बट व्हाई दिस MS इन सप्लाई चेन एंड रिटेल मैनेजमेंट। और जो डिस्कशन हमने सारी देखी, इसमें हमने देखा कि इंडस्ट्री के क्या चैलेंजेस हैं। सो हाउ दिस प्रोग्राम हेल्प्स पोटेंशियल कैंडिडेट्स हु विल कम एंड जॉइन दिस प्रोग्राम।
Yeah, so thank you, the panelists, and thank you, Asan, for the question as well. So actually, this question has several segments, so I will try my best to answer them one by one. So first of all, if we talk about the program, कि हमने ये क्यों program start किया, तो actually we identified several requirements of our contemporary industry, as mentioned by several of our panelists as well. So initially we identified an analytical and problem solving skill gap in the rapidly evolving supply chain and retail industry, and we thought that this skill gap should be bridged, because as we have already discussed, तो हमें बहुत सारे trade-offs find out करने की जरूरत थी, and those trade-offs are of course revolving around the numbers. वो numbers productivity की form में भी हो सकते हैं, वो numbers in terms of the dollars भी हो सकते हैं, expenditures, everything. And secondly, as there are more entrants in our market, अगर हम for example automotive industry की ही बात कर लेते हो, तो the expanding supply chain and the retail industry in this automotive industry in Pakistan has increased the demand for the qualified professionals who should be able to cater the needs of the industry. And secondly, as the economic crisis is going on, and throughout the globe as well, of course, the industry is eager to improve the efficiency and effectiveness of the supply chain and retail operations. And if we talk about the COVID-19, to the current challenges, for example, the disrupted supply chains, increased costs, and the changing consumer behaviors are seen. So in सारे challenges को cover up करने के लिए with the lens of the supply chainer, with the lens of the retail manager, हम एक separate stream of the program की जरूरत थी, ताकि वो specifically इन्हीं सारे challenges को resolve कर रही हो. So that was the major reason कि we identified कि we should go and design a program specific to the supply chain management and the retail management. That was the basic reason कि हम लोग इस side पे move किए थे. So if we talk about the ideal candidate for this program, so he would be a person who has a background in maybe in the business, maybe engineering or a related field, and is interested in pursuing a career in production management, supplier side, or maybe the retail side of the supply chain, and of course he might be a fresh graduate as well, right? And if we talk about the current people working in the industry, so our program is equally suitable for those individuals as well who are working in these fields and looking to enhance their knowledge and skills to the advanced to advance their careers, right? So now if I talk about the structure of the program, so we have actually designed the program in a sense that it will be a 1.5 year program, and it requires the students to complete 33 credit hours. So हमने किया ये है कि we have divided the program into 4 modules. So if we talk about initial 3 modules, so we talk about the overall core business side, and then we specialize them in the subjects related to end-to-end supply chain, जहाँ पे हम लोग supply chain units की integration की बात करते हैं with other business units as well. And then हमने eventually एक final module number 4 design किया है, which is actually a field thesis to implement the concepts they have studied during their initial 3 phases to solve the real world industrial problems. So again, if I talk about the delivery of the program, so it's a blended training format, right? With the classes scheduled on alternate weekends, and some block teaching is used there. So the benefit which we expect from the blending teaching is that it ensures that the students have the access to the best possible learning experiences, combining both online and in-person teaching methods. So the session schedule is something like one alternative weekend is on campus, and the other alternative weekend is online, so the students can easily manage their academic and industrial responsibilities while learning the contemporary concepts and the contemporary methods as well. And in fact, it's worth mentioning that many of our current students are working professionals, right, who are seeking to enhance their knowledge and skills in the field. And the benefit is that they go back to their industries, apply their learning to their current job roles, they come back and they reflect on that, and then we build our arguments on their reflections. So the program can definitely help in their career improvements by providing them with the knowledge and the skills necessary to succeed in their field, and by giving the competitive edge in the job market. And then you asked about SDSB. So it's always like pride for us to talk about SDSB, because it is one of the leading business school in the region, and is committed to providing the high quality education to our students. Our teaching methodology is actually participant-centered learning through interactive case-based opportunities, and we have a strong reputation for producing the graduates who are, I would say, well-prepared and well-versed to succeed in their careers and make a positive impact on the society. So अगर मैं again comparison in terms of the numbers में चला जाऊं with the global business schools, तो LUMS and SDSB both have been consistently ranked among the top universities, both globally and of course in the region as well. For instance, LUMS is ranked among the top 200 universities worldwide, and top 50 in Asia for employability in the QS graduate employability ranking in 2022 recently. And SDSB is also placed among the top 200 universities for business and management studies in the QS world ranking recently in 2022 by subject. So on top of that, it's worth mentioning that we have a strong network of alumni who are making a positive impact in the various fields around the world, which is itself a testament that we are providing the quality of education and preparation to our students they actually receive over here as. So now if I again come back to our MS in supply chain program, so as the participants have identified, तो हमने भी बहुत सारे कुछ ऐसे skill sets identify किए थे in our supply chains and retail business which needs to be addressed, right? So those things include, but not of course limited to, the supplier management, supplier development side, and then data analytics in the supply chain management and retail side, where you have to forecast the consumer demand, and you have to foresee that how the political situation and the economic situation is going to mold the consumer behavior. Then you should talk about the strategic planning side. You have to talk about the financial management side, project management, and of course your effective communication and collaboration skills. So what we are doing to incorporate these skill set in our graduates is that we use the case method of instruction, which is a proven and a highly effective teaching approach. And the benefit is that it engages the students in real world problems, right? It enables them to apply the theoretical concepts to the real situations, and thus fostering the critical thinking and decision making skills in them, right? And again, it creates an active learning environment where the students can work collaboratively and in collaboration with the industry as well, improving their communication and interpersonal skills. And again, as we have people from all over the cities in Pakistan, so once they come on campus sessions, to the diversity of the perspectives brought by each of the student enhances the discussion and analysis of the case which we have. So again, if I talk about the faculty we have, so our faculty members are world-class scholars and practitioners in their respective fields, and they bring their expertise and real-world experiences into the classroom to create an engaging and interactive learning experience. And again, on top of that, since the people like you, we have a strong industry linkages program, which provides the students with the opportunities to interact with and learn from the professionals in the supply chain. And of course, this webinar is the part of that program as well, right? Where you go and find out the real challenges in the industry, then you come back, you bring those challenges into the class, and then you try to find out the solutions which are world class and which are the most efficient and responsive ones as well. So eventually I'll conclude we expect that this program will further help the students in making their career advancements. It will help us our local industry and the transitions among different phases of the industry as well. Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Tayyib. Thank you very much for such an elaborated reply and response. बड़ी आपने से कहते हैं दरिया को कूदने में बंद कर दिया, तो कुछ चीजें मैं चाहूंगा कि आप थोड़ा सा एलेबोरेट कर दें। एक तो ये कि इस प्रोग्राम का रिगर कैसा है, नंबर वन, क्योंकि जैसे आप कह रहे थे कि एक फोर्टनाइट ऑनलाइन है, एक फोर्टनाइट ऑन कैंपस है, तो क्या is it something which is very easy going for the students, या इसका रिगर जो है वो वैसा ही है जैसा कि हमारा ऑन कैंपस फुल ऑन कैंपस प्रोग्राम होता है?
Yeah, so I would say its rigor is a bit better than the on-campus one. No? So one fortnight is on campus, so you have all those professionals जो कि let's say Peshawar से भी आ रहे हैं, कुछ लोग कोयटा से, कराची से भी travel करके आ रहे हैं, and they are bringing their industrial perspectives to you. You have a time to collaborate with them. You actually spend 3 days here with those buddies, na? So you develop new concepts and then you talk about those concepts in the class and of course outside the class as well. हमारे पास कुछ DRs होते हैं जिनमें you go for the group discussions and then उसके बाद you go back and you implement those things in your industry, right? So that is the major chunk of the program जो कि हमारा different है बाकी on campus sessions से, because on campus के case में आपके you don't have the time to go back and implement those things and then reflect on that. And of course to save this much traveling as well, फिर आपका जो next fortnight आ जाता है, it is online में you have the liberty to manage your official tasks as well. थोड़ा आपके लिए ease create हो जाता है and you have pretty much time to foster the results of those concepts जो कि आपने वहाँ पे implement किए होते हैं. So again, once you come back after a month on the campus, so you have a pretty I would say amount of the reflections or the information from the industry जिसको फिर दोबारा से आप लोग जो है ना unlearn भी कर रहे होते हैं and you are learning the new things as well. So it provides ease for the professionals, right? And of course it is good for the fresh candidates as well, right? So हम लोग फिर उनको भी attach कर देते हैं with some of the professionals, so they go visit their buddies over there, they work on the projects together, and then they generate some new perceptions and ideas as well.
Thank you, Dr. साहब, आपने बड़े अच्छे तरीके से explain किया कि इस program के अंदर best of everything gets combined. यहाँ पे टेक्नोलॉजी है, उसका भी हम बड़ा अच्छा यूज कर रहे हैं कि लोगों को ऑनलाइन हम अब पढ़ा सकते हैं और उनसे उसी लेवल के ऊपर नॉलेज शेयर हो सकता है जो कि इन क्लास हो सकता है. It also brings the best of the combination of the fresh graduates and the industry experts. और फिर जो हमारी टीचिंग मैथडोलॉजी है जहाँ पे केस स्टडी भी है, पार्टिसिपेंट सेंटर्ड लर्निंग है, डिस्कशन रूम्स हैं और प्रोजेक्ट्स हैं और असाइनमेंट्स हैं और थीसिस हैं, ये सारी चीजें मिलके इसके अंदर रिगर भी लेके आती हैं, इसके अंदर वैरायटी भी लेके आती हैं, डाइवर्सिटी भी लेके आती हैं, कोलैबोरेशन का टूल हम बहुत ज्यादा यूज करते हैं जिससे कि बहुत ज्यादा सिनर्जी क्रिएट हो. थैंक यू डॉक्टर साहब फॉर योर इनसाइट. मैं रिजवान साहब आपके पास आना चाहूंगा कि आपका लम्स का एक्सपीरियंस है, आपने यहाँ पे प्रोजेक्ट मैनेजमेंट का एक कोर्स किया था, So how was your experience? आप हमसे share करेंगे कि with regards to the facilities, with regards to the faculty, with regards to the project content of the program and the delivery, ये सारी चीजें कैसी लगी आपको?
जी, Hasan sir, I took this course I think in 2017, if I recall, project management का जो आपके REDC है उसके platform से this was conducted. I think it was a very good experience. Starting off with the जो course facilitators थे, they were very knowledgeable. और मतलब ठीक है जो उनकी knowledge थी और माशाल्लाह PhDs थे in their subjects and everything. But the thing that stood out was कि वो खुद industry के experience वाले लोग थे, right? So it was not just theory and all. It was more of like listening directly from the horse's mouth. तो एक और जो अच्छी चीज थी वो ये थी कि there was a lot of engagement because they had a lot of case studies. और case studies भी बड़ी ऐसी specific जो बड़ा relevant थी and they were from the local market also because from their experience and from the international market. So ज़्यादातर जो course का content था वो case study based था. So they would hand over a case study of a certain project in a certain situation and then we were divided into groups. जहाँ पे हमें उस situation का solution ढूंढना होता था कि being a project manager, how would you go about, solving this problem? या जो मुख्तलिफ angles थे कि ये आपने कैसे फैसला किया या ये conflict कैसे resolve किया या team को कैसे motivate किया. So there were different angles. And then at the end of that study, when we would chalk down on the whiteboards and then the facilitator would give his inputs. कि ठीक है आपने ये किया, ये बहुत अच्छा था, that was the plus part, but you could have done this better in this way also. तो वो बहुत ज़्यादा उसमें insights हमें मिली, बहुत अच्छा था और बड़ा relevant भी था क्योंकि उस वक्त मैं एक project को lead कर रहा था. I was heading techno auto class जहाँ पे हम localize कर रहे थे automotive windshields को. So वहाँ से localization की एक बात निकल रही है. तो बड़ा relevant था. I think it really added value to me on a personal level as well as on a professional level.
Thank you very much, Rizwan sir. So to conclude the session, मैं सबसे पहले तो viewers से बात करना चाहूँगा कि this program is designed in keeping in view the requirements of fresh graduates as well as industry practitioners, people who are very serious about making a career in supply chain and retail management. और जैसे कि participants ने share किया, Dr. Tayyib ने share किया कि there is a state of the art infrastructure available at LUMS. Curriculum design is fabulous. Faculty is brilliant. जो technology के tools हैं, latest technology के tools available हैं और जो group है, जो लोग इस program को join करते हैं, they are also coming from industry and also from best of the best institutions in Pakistan and abroad. जो हमारा selection criteria है that involves your credentials, your graduate degree, then there is a admission test that you have to go through, and it's a rigorous process. There's an interview that you have to go through. Selection is 100% on merit, and therefore the quality of people who work with you is very high. And then therefore the whole process is such that it creates a learning environment that ends up creating the best output. So I welcome all of you to apply and join this program. Applications are open and the deadline is somewhere in the mid of April. So you guys can go to the LUMS website and see the details on the website, how to apply and the critical dates that are mentioned over there. So please stay tuned. We will have further webinars like this going on different topics. So you are welcome to join those programs, and we continue to invite industry experts as the panel we have today. And now I would like to thank our worthy panelists, Rizwan Saab. Thank you very much for joining us from Master Changan Motors. Azam Saab, thank you very much for being here. It's really a pleasure having you with us from Hyundai and Shark Motors. Kashif Rahim Saab, it was a great honor for us that you came here and you have talked about the industry. Kashif Rahim Saab from Indus Motor Company, thank you very much. And Kashif Hassan Saab, your participation has been a great pleasure for us. You have been representing Atlas Honda Limited. Thanks a lot for your time. And Dr. Tayyab, आपके टाइम का बहुत शुक्रिया, आपने मुझसे शेयर किया कि LAMS ने ये प्रोग्राम क्यों शुरू किया, क्या ऑब्जेक्टिव्स थे और आज हम लोग कहाँ खड़े हैं, and how LAMS is dedicated to develop top-notch professionals for supply chain and retail management. Thank you very much. Thank you all of you for being here. It has been a great pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Allah Hafiz.
Thank you very much. Allah Hafiz, everyone.
Allah Hafiz.
Thank you. Thank you. Take
Thank you
Allah
very
Hafiz.
much.